Okay, welcome brothers. I hope you have had a great discussion about Boaz from the book of Ruth. And today we're going to continue, learning more about Boaz. I have one point that I want to share with all of you, besides all your many points about Boaz and in learning about godly leadership. Boaz, he was a man who was quick to care. Boaz was a great man. God chose him to be one of the ancestors of Jesus. Can you imagine being an ancestor of Jesus? Won't you like it? We will all love it, right? And one of the qualities that I believe God looked at Boaz was his heart of being quick to care about the people around him. So, even the name Boaz itself, right, comes from the word Boaz in Hebrew, which means fleeting or quickness. And a lot of times the name itself tells you a lot about the person. And the other meaning of the name is what? In him is strength. Okay, you can find that in 1 Kings chapter 17 verse 21, where the king, on building the temple, named one of the main pillar, the left pillar, as Boaz, the pillar of strength for the temple. So you can see the idea, even with the name of Boaz, quickness, strength. Boaz was somebody who was strong and was quick to care about the people around him. There are three things we can learn from Boaz in how he was quick to care for the people around him. Number one, Boaz initiated to care and be the support of the people around him. So let's go to the book of Ruth, chapter 2. And I'm going to read for you this passage starting from verse 4. Okay, let's turn our Bible to the book of Ruth, and I'm going to read from chapter 2, verse 4. Just then Boaz arrived from Bethlehem and greeted the harvesters. "The Lord be with you." "The Lord bless you," they answered. Boaz asked the overseers of his harvesters, "Who does this young woman belong to?" The overseers replied, "She is a Moabite who came from Moab with Naomi." She said, "Please let me glean and gather among the sheaves behind the harvesters." She came into the field and has remained here from morning till night, except for a short rest in the shelter. So Boaz said to Ruth, "My daughter, listen to me. Don't go and glean in another field. Don't go away from here. Stay here with the women who work for me. Watch the field where the men are harvesting and follow along after the women. I've told the men not to lay a hand on you, and whenever you are thirsty, go and get a drink from the water jars the men have filled." At this, she bowed down with her face to the ground and she asked, "Why have I found such favor in your eyes that you notice me, a foreigner?" You know, Ruth just came back to Bethlehem with Naomi, and to earn a living, she didn't have a job. She had to go and glean the field, basically pick up scraps from the field, the harvest field. And she went to the field that belongs to Boaz. And when Boaz arrived there, he noticed Ruth. And immediately, he initiated to find out about Ruth. He cared for Ruth. Isn't that amazing? Okay, Ruth was a total stranger to Boaz, but yet Boaz, being a man of God, was quick to care. So we see the first thing that we can learn from Boaz about how he was quick to care. He initiated. He initiated to care for Ruth. So brothers, we have to ask ourselves, as we lead the church together, as we lead our family, do you initiate to care, or do you wait for somebody else to start? You know, when someone at home asks, "Hey, I need help," do you initiate? "Yes, I'll be the first one." Or do you wait for somebody else to start, or to prompt you, or to push you to help? So often we as men tend to lay back and let someone else lead. Brothers, we need to be the one that initiate, to be quick to care. Secondly, what else can we see about Boaz? That he was quick to care. Boaz was not somebody who was superficial. So let's continue to read from verse 11. Boaz replied, "I've been told all about what you have done for your mother-in-law since the death of your husband. How you left your father and your mother and your homeland and came to live with a people you did not know before." How did Boaz know about all those things? He's somebody who was not superficial. He went around with his harvesters, with his workers, to ask deeply about the situation about Naomi and Ruth, because he was quick to care. And then in verse 12 he says, "May the Lord repay you for what you have done. May you be richly rewarded by the Lord, the God of Israel, under whose wing you have come to take refuge." "May I continue to find favor in your eyes, my Lord," she said. "You have put me at ease by speaking kindly to your servant, though I did not have the standing of one of your servant." Again, Ruth was so surprised that Boaz knew so much about her, even though, again, she was a total stranger. This was her first day on the field, and yet Boaz was someone who was quick to care, and the way you saw it was that he went to find out deeply about Ruth. And the reason why he did that was so that he can meet her needs and to help her and Naomi in their livelihood. So brothers, we gotta ask ourselves, do you take time? Do you take time to find out the needs of other people? Are you willing to put in the effort to help them grow spiritually, emotionally? So often, I know when we spend time with one another, when we spend time with the brothers, we tend to be very superficial. We talk about the weather, we talk about food, but we don't get deep. And of course, now during the virus situation, what do we talk about? The virus, right? The quarantine, the blockage, the lockdown. We talk about all those things, but we don't get deep and ask one another, "Brother, how are you really doing spiritually? Are you okay? Do you need help?" And then even as we fellowship with our friends through WhatsApp, Line, Facebook, do you get deep with them? Some of our friends might be in distress right now. Some of our friends may be struggling right now and be emotional. Do you go in there to try to help them emotionally and spiritually? And just like Boaz, we are quick to care. So Boaz here was quick to care by wanting to get deep with the people around him. So what else do we see about Boaz? Boaz made sure the needs of the people around him were adequately met. That's how he was deep, quick to care towards the people around him. So now we're going to read verse 14 to show you how Boaz was somebody who really wanted to make sure that the needs of the people around him was adequately met. So in verse 14 it says here, "At mealtime Boaz said to her, Ruth, come over here, have some bread and dip it with wine vinegar." Boaz didn't have to do that, right? A total stranger, first time meeting Ruth. But look how he initiated with Ruth. Come to my table, eat with me. Wow, what an awesome guy. We continue on, it says here, when she sat down with the harvesters, he offered her some roasted grain. She ate all she wanted and had some left. Isn't it amazing? Even after finishing eating, there were more food left over, for her that she couldn't even finish. Abundant Boaz was such a giving person, generous person. And in verse 15 it says that as she got up to glean, Boaz gave orders to his men, let her gather among the sheaves and don't reprimand her. Even pull out some stalks for her from the bundle and leave them for her to pick up, and don't rebuke her. So what is Boaz saying? Hey guys, the good stalk, leave some for her. That is incredible, isn't it? It's like saying, guys, when you go out on the street, throw some money on the street, give it to the poor. That is how generous Boaz was. In verse 17, it says, so Ruth gleaned in the field until evening. Then she threshed the barley she had gathered, and it amounted to an ephod, 13 kg. Wow. Scrapes, 13 kg. That is a lot of scrapes, isn't it? That's incredible. Boaz was such a generous man. He gave adequately to those around him. And in fact, it says here in verse 18, Ruth carried back to her town, and her mother-in-law saw how much she had gathered, and Ruth also brought out and said, here is what is left over that I did not finish. Boaz was a man who certainly was quick to care. And he made sure Ruth and Naomi was adequately taken care of. So brothers, you got to ask yourself, are you willing to give your time and effort to make sure the needs of other people are adequately taken care of? It's easy to start helping people, right? But are you willing to continue to help those who are around you? If you are mentoring brothers, are you willing to keep on mentoring the brothers? Are you keep on willing to call them every week? Especially in this time, right? When we have the COVID-19, when there's a lot of issues, there's a lot of stress, uncertainty. Do we keep up with one another so that we can help each other and make sure that our needs are adequately met? We got to be just like Boaz, someone who cares, quick to help, quick to care, so that we can meet the needs of one another. And amazingly, when Naomi talked to Ruth later on, she was so in awe of Boaz. In verse 20, it says here, the Lord bless him, Naomi said to his daughter-in-law. He has not stopped showing his kindness to the living and the dead, she added. That man is our close relatives. He is one of our guardian redeemers. Boaz was so awesome. He was so quick to care that even Naomi was blown away and said he has not stopped showing his kindness. Brothers, do we keep giving our kindness to the people around us? We need to be people like that. We need to be people who are quick to care, to be leaders in our family, leaders in the church, leaders in our community that is quick to care, and be a pillar of support for the people around us so that we can help them in their time of need. What's our challenge? Sometimes why it's so difficult to care for other people? Number one, could it be you're too busy with your own commitment, we're not willing to give? Or are we afraid that if I become a pillar of support, that you don't know what to do? Right? Sometimes we feel like, I don't know what to do. It's so difficult. Or it could be selfishness. Could it be selfishness? The unwillingness to give to the people around you. We just want to give to ourselves. Or, brothers, sometimes we struggle with undecisiveness. We're not decisive. We're afraid to take charge and take the lead. Or it could be that we procrastinate. You want to give. You want to help. But it's tomorrow. These are some of the challenges, and we need to learn to overcome. We need to learn to be people who are quick to care, just like Boaz. I love this passage in the book of Philippians, chapter 2, verse 3 to 4. It says here, Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourself, not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interests of others. Paul challenges, don't just look at your own interests. Care. Be quick to care for the people around you. Here are some quick tips for you to learn how to be quick to care for the people around you. Number one, very important, initiate. Initiate. Learn to be the one that starts first. Okay? Don't wait for another person. Secondly, decide. Decide to be that pillar of support. Be that pillar of support in the church. Be the pillar of support in your groups. Be the pillar of support in your family. Be the pillar of support with your friends. And what else? Care about their godliness. It's easy just to care about the physical things and not look into the godliness. We need to care about the godliness of the people around you. For those of us who have families, wife and children, do you do family devotional with your family every week? We need to have family devotional so that we can help our family, our kids to be godly. Do quiet time together. Again, care about their godliness, not just your own personal godliness. Do you pray together? And to help them grow in their prayer. Another tip is to care about other people's emotional needs. Okay? Especially in this time, as I said, there's a lot of stress, there's a lot of struggle. People need to talk. Do you ask, how are you doing? Really? How are you doing? Brothers, how are you doing? I want to know. How are you doing? Are you okay? Are you worried? Is there stress in your heart? Fear? We need to ask one another and get deep with one another. And then not only that, share with one another challenges in your own life so that they too can pray for you and help you along. So brothers, let's imitate Boaz. Be a godly leader. Be someone who is quick to care. Love you, miss you. Amen.